has been making really good phone cameras both in the past and even until today. And if you'd remember, its partnership with optics brand Leica further cemented its position as an imaging authority back when its P series was just starting out. But this is the first time the company is using a sensor with 108 megapixels, promising clarity and nighttime performance superior in the mid-range category. We have been looking forward to trying this device out, and thankfully we got first dibs from Huawei. So without further ado, let's begin this video. Hey guys, Kevin here, you're with the Modern Creatures, and welcome to another video. This is our Huawei Nova 9 SE review. Like always, we begin with design. While it's true that the Nova 9 SE is a mid-range device, its looks and the quality of its design are anything but. It comes in this crystal blue color that has a very pearlescent look and fades from a shade of blue to a hint of purple. Huawei says this color is unique in a way that the back panel comes with what they call a dual film, dual plating nano texture coating for that subtle sheen that kind of glows in its own way when light hits it. Huawei says the back panel design is inspired by Star Trails. I'm not quite sure why a number of manufacturers go in the direction of, heavenly bodies when it comes to design, but I guess that just means it works. Well, I agree, and I think it does look nice. The back panel is made of 3D glass, which gives a glossy finish, but it's surprisingly not a fingerprint magnet, so that's a very good thing. And even though it catches slight smudges, a light wipe easily removes them away. We have the Nova label on the lower half of the device in addition to the company's branding. But apart from those, the next detail here would be the protruding camera module. It's very prominent with its two large sensors and a symmetrical design, clearly hinting that this is a camera-centric phone. Looking closely, the quad camera setup is seen here with the single LED flash right smack in the middle of its four sensors. Button placement is neat and all tucked on the right side of the phone. The power button also acts as a fingerprint sensor for security and is situated just under the volume rocker. And just like with any phone with this button setup, I have to inch my thumb up to reach the volume controls. Meanwhile, up top is where its single nano SIM slot is found, together with the micro SD for storage expansion. You can also see here the speaker for calls, and while it may look like it doubles as a loudspeaker, there's only the bottom firing speaker grill present. This is next to its USB Type-C port, but if you think there's something missing here, it's because there's no 3.5mm audio jack to be found, and you'd have to use an adapter to connect wired headphones, or just pair them wirelessly via Bluetooth. Moving on, the phone comes with curved edges which rests easy on the palm and is comfortable to hold thanks to its slim profile. In terms of weight, it's a little bit light for my preference since I've always enjoyed phones with a decent heft to them. Well, that's just me though, and you might have a different preference when it comes to weight and handling. Moving over to the display department, the Nova 9 SE comes with a large 6.78 Full HD Plus LCD display. It maxes out at 90Hz refresh rate with a P3 color gamut that's responsible for showing accurate and more shades of color. And on top of those, it boasts a 94.85% screen-to-body ratio thanks to these thin bezels measuring at just over a millimeter. Picture quality is generally detailed with vibrant colors, but if you want to tweak its settings, you can choose between normal, vivid, warm, or cool, and can set the color temperature through a color wheel. There's also eye comfort to lessen strain on the eyes, and an ebook mode that significantly lessens blue light emitted by the screen. Of course, you can also switch dark mode on for a layout that's easier on the eyes. The display produces sharp picture quality and bright images that make watching videos enjoyable. However, the usual streaming sites are only limited to standard definition and not HD, since the Nova 9 SE is not certified for Widevine L1. This could be something that's important to you if you spend a lot of your time streaming TV shows and movies on your phone. But if you're mostly on YouTube, maybe watching our videos, you'll still get to enjoy up to full HD streaming. For audio, you get a single speaker that produces a decently loud volume. And though it's a bit louder than usual, it still maintains a clear and pretty solid sound whether you're playing music or watching videos. Although I would suggest connecting an external speaker or a pair of headphones, as it comes with audio tweaking presets to sort of personalize the sound you're hearing. Okay, now on to the main feature. Its cameras. As mentioned, the quad camera setup comes with a 108 megapixel lens as its main shooter, accompanied by an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, 2 megapixel macro, and another 2 megapixel depth sensor. Photos taken outdoors in broad daylight are very lively in terms of colors and detail. Both the main and ultra-wide cameras produced images that have good dynamic range. But the difference in pixel count for these two shows that the main sensor usually preserves more details in the highlights. But still, its wide-angle sensor with AI optimizations captured clear and high-quality images. I just noticed that in some dark areas, digital noise is seen, especially when there's a good mix of light and dark elements in the photo. This is understandable since Huawei made this phone to take different exposures of the same image and stitch them to produce a photo with higher dynamic range. But I would just assume that the software will also smoothen those parts out automatically. The phone also gives you versatility in shooting by offering digital zoom up to 10 times. 2 times zoom is okay and still preserves lots of details, but going for 10 times digital zoom? Let's just move on. But when it comes to low light shooting, its large sensor does see more than other phones in its category. By combining different exposures, you get good details from both the highlights and shadows of the scene, but get even greater mids. This results in showing more details that not even you can instantly see with your own eyes. When I was shooting these, the buildings in the far end were not that obvious, but they're clearly captured in these photos. It also has an aperture mode that works with its 2 megapixel depth sensor and lets you achieve an adjustable bokeh effect. I find this shooting mode to be hit and miss and somehow depends on what you're shooting. The more intricate your subjects are, the harder it gets for the AI to separate the subject from the background. I would actually rather use its f1.9 aperture. I find this useful for that natural bokeh effect in addition to receiving more light into its sensor when you need to shoot in low light situations. Then there's high-res mode that captures photos in all its 108 megapixel glory to preserve as much detail as possible. Useful for when you want to go for large format prints, among others. On the flip side, a 16 megapixel selfie camera produces nice portraits with impressive dynamic range, so it works great either when you take group selfies at night and also when you just want to show the view that's behind you. Of course, it comes with their usual beautification filters and bokeh effect that, again, is a hit and miss affair. For video recording, there's dual video available that uses both the front and rear cameras simultaneously to create more engaging videos and content. But with the unit we're testing now, there's no Pro video mode or video stabilization, so those are limitations that you may want to consider if you want to use it for content creation. Other than that, you get full HD recording at 30 FPS, which is decent enough to get started on your channel. At the heart of the Nova 9 SE is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 680 processor with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. Running our usual apps and software from the Huawei app gallery and Petal Search is decently fast, and jumping from one app to another is smooth. Basically, it's just right for everyday use and can even handle light gaming. You can run titles like Genshin Impact, but get ready to set the graphics settings to low. Meanwhile, other titles like Mobile Legends ran decently with minimal hiccups. And since this phone is made to help content creators, it comes with its own video editing app, and I'm glad to report that you can create a generic edit of your own videos, and the phone's internals are capable enough to give you a smooth experience. Additionally, the phone runs the company's EMUI 12 this time, and the interface is clean and pretty straightforward. There are a couple of bloatwares from startup, but like usual, you can uninstall most of them. It also has these separate functions depending where you swipe down. It can be for notifications, or it can also bring out the control panel easily. I would say that heavy gaming isn't what the Nova 9 SE is made for, but still it was able to do those tasks anyway, so I'm pretty confident it can handle most software or apps that you need to run. For security, its fingerprint sensor performed reliably and instantly, and while its face unlock works well too, its fingerprint scanner has been my way of unlocking the phone since it feels more natural to me. And it's not really super easy to use face unlock when I'm outside with face mask on and sunglasses. I was a bit surprised at first when I found out that it only carries a 4000 mAh capacity compared to the more common 5000 mAh battery of phones in this size. But with my daily use, I was actually able to make it last for more than one day on a single charge, with my tasks consisting of the usual social media browsing, streaming music and videos, and playing games. And for charging, you'd be glad to know that it supports Huawei 66W supercharge that promises charging times of 0 to 60% in just 15 minutes and 36 minutes to 100%. From my experience though, I was able to charge from 0 to 100% in 47 minutes. Still not bad. And as always in our reviews, the Modern Creatures aims to find special features in devices that make them worth having. Their creature feature, and for the Huawei Nova 9 SE, it would have to be its 108 megapixel main camera that we see for the first time on a Huawei device. With this sensor, the phone is able to produce low-light shots with more detail, as well as an overall better picture quality. For its price, you already get a flagship-level design, thin bezels for immersive visuals, a serious lineup of cameras, capable processing power, and an efficient battery to last you longer. If you find yourself looking for your next phone and you're into content creation, you should definitely check the Huawei Nova 9 SE. And that's about it for our Huawei Nova 9 SE review. As always, visit our website and follow us on our social media pages for more news, features, and reviews. Once again, that's it for me. I'm Kevin. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.